Good morning, Force followers. It's Thursday at 11 o'clock. I'm a little late. I do apologize. Um, I had to let the dog out. So I'm going to wait a couple seconds to see if people hop on here, and then we'll get started. How is everybody today, Thursday? Um, just a little insight into what's going on in Force's world. We started our club practices this week. It was awesome. We run our practices on Mondays and Wednesdays, and we have two waves. So we go 6 to 10, 2 hour practices. And I will say, I think the girls are so excited to be in the gym. I just loved the energy. I loved being there. I loved teaching them and coaching them. Um, the first 2 weeks we are going to be doing like director run practices. So I ran the two practices this week and we covered things like passing and hitting. And then yesterday we did some serving. And then next week we're going to get into more like team cohesive things where it's like serve receive patterns and how we run things at Force. And then we're going to get into defensive schemes and offensive stuff. So I'm really excited to teach the girls how we do everything at Force. And then after the 2 weeks of director run practices, we will break into our teams and the season will get underway with our coaches. So it's been a very exciting week. It was a little hard to get up this morning, I will admit. Getting home at 10:30 is tough and it's an adjustment, but it's something I'm super willing to do to make sure that our kids are getting good practices in and getting ready for the season. So, anyways, I wanted to hop on, and today we're going to talk about where should we start if our daughter is showing interest in volleyball. So this isn't really for the people that are already in our club program, but it might be for somebody that you know. You might have a friend who has a daughter that's 8, 9, or 10, and they've never played before, but they want to play, and they don't know where to start. So I get that question all the time, like, where am I supposed to put my kid? Like, what are we looking at? And so that's what we're going to cover today. But really quick, before we get started, I want to um, talk to you about one of Force's sponsors this year. So now that the season has started, I want to share a sponsor with you that has sponsored Force this year. And our first sponsor of the season is they're called the Katy Good Life, and they are a real estate group here in Katy. So if you're looking to sell or buy a home, I think you should reach out to these people. The real estate group is run by Jennifer Wahab, and her daughter plays on my team, 15 Regional, and they provide great real estate services and they're willing to help you with any of your real estate needs. So you can find them and more info at www.katygoodlife.com. And I also think you should follow Jennifer on Instagram. She always shares great information regarding real estate. And you can find her on Instagram at Katy Good Life. And check out her IGTV because she does do videos and she teaches things. And so, yeah, go check them out if you need any real estate services. And all right, let's get started. So, where like I said before, I always get the question, where should my daughter start? Like, what should we do to just see if she likes volleyball? Because, when they're very young, something that I've now been a part of with Brooklyn being 3.5, it's like the only things that you can start with at 3.5 are like gymnastics, dance, and swimming and maybe soccer. We haven't gotten into soccer. We've only done the gymnastics and swimming, but those are like the four main sports that I feel like, or activities that I feel like are really known in the child toddler world. Um, but there are some things out there for that young of kids. So like we offer a program called Little Yodas, and it's for 3 through 6 year olds, and then we do bigger Yodas, which is 7 and 8 and 9. We haven't gotten a lot of interest in it, but think it's because people don't know that that's something that we have to offer. So if you have a kid or somebody in that age range, um, know that that is something that we offer. We don't offer it all the time because it's better if we offer it like once or twice a month. So check in with us and see if it's we're offering it that month. Um, but once they're kind of beyond that, and I hear that kids tend to start volleyball in the fourth grade. Like that's, I don't know what it is about the fourth grade, but everybody's like, oh, I started volleyball in the fourth grade. And that's great. And I think that's a perfect time to start. It's not, you're you're not missing anything if you start later, but fourth grade is great. And the places where I feel that you can start to see if your daughter likes the sport is any camper clinic that any club is putting on. So I recommend sending them to a club camper clinic, not so much like a college camper clinic. Um, that's kind of a big environment, and they could be very overwhelmed by something like that. The college coaches and camps, they house anywhere between 100 and like 500 students, or not students, campers during the summer. And if your kid doesn't really like big groups, then it could be very overwhelming. So, any camper clinic, if you're looking for something that is more of a um, like a playing, like a league where they get to actually play 6 on 6, then I say start with something like the YMCA or I-9. It's very cheap, and you can see if they can kind of pick up the skills and pick up the game. And then if they do like it, then I say move on to something that a club is providing. So when I say a volleyball club, Houston Force is a volleyball club. Um, in the Houston area, there's like Tornadoes, Houston Juniors, Skyline, Twisters, something like that. If they're offering a program, it's called a program most of the time. Um, and this allows you to get skill training and game like training. Sometimes these programs can lead to like a small team that plays in a small season. This is actually, we're actually doing that this year for the first time ever. I'm super excited about it because I, started a program last month. If you've been watching, you know that we did trick or treat, learn and compete. And this year we're moving into a new program, or it's the same program but new month, called Falleyball. And I have to tell you, I've doubled the program. So in October, we had 14 kids, and they ranged from the ages of fourth grade through seventh grade. So again, that starting age for volleyball, and especially fourth and fifth and sixth graders, a good starting because they get to play in seventh grade here. Um, but so last month I had 14 kids, and this month we're already sitting at 30 and like people registered, and it starts on Saturday. So I hope and imagine that we could get up to 35 or 40 kids. Um, so super exciting. That's something that's a program. So programs, most clubs run. They're multiple weeks, and they're taught skills and then game-like situations. And then like I was saying, it could lead to like a mini club, or some clubs run TOTS programs. It's a team like experience where they play in some tournaments. Then, once you've kind of decided and you've been through these programs, you have decided, okay, my kid loves volleyball. Like she just wants to be in the gym all the time. She wants to continue learning. She wants to get better at her skills. She wants to be able to serve the ball over the net, like those kinds of things. The next step is actually trying out for the club program, which like all those people I mentioned, they have, that's our main business is club. So we just started our club season this week, as I mentioned in the beginning. But the thing I feel like people get lost in is here, at least in Texas or in Houston, we have our volleyball tryouts in June or July. So early July, late June, but we don't start the club season until November. Well, most people don't know that the tryouts already happened. And so they're looking in October and November to make a club team. And sometimes there's spots and sometimes there's not. So I think starting in a program, hopefully that will lead you to know more and more and more about the volleyball world. Um, so, like what we're doing is the volleyball now, and then we're going to do a mini club, which is going to be a 12-week program for fifth and sixth graders. And they get to play on a team, But then what that's going to do for them is lead them right into tryouts in June and July because they're going to know that what's going on, right? Because they're in our program. And we're just going to continue to educate them and hopefully grow their love for the game where they want to continue on a team and then be in our club program. The club program is for everybody across the board is like it's a 6 month commitment. Um, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, 6 to 7 month commitment. And they they are on a team, they play with the same 10, 11, 12 kids all those 7 months. We have different levels, so our local levels play in 8 tournaments, our regional level plays in 10 tournaments. Some teams travel, some teams don't. So it's a bigger commitment, it's a monetary commitment as well. But if you've started in 4th grade in the program, then you really know if it's worth the money and the time to put your daughter onto a club team. And then hopefully, if they're playing on a club team at 12 and 13, then they're going to be making their junior high teams and then getting to play in school. And then hopefully, that will lead them to be able to play in their high school team. And high school team is so fun. Um, I've learned in the last few years that in Katy, it's very hard to make the high school team, just in general, because the competition here is very good. And so the sooner you can start playing club and honing in on your skills and getting better at the game, the more likely you are to make your high school team. So once you've been making your high school team, hopefully you're still playing club somewhere. And then club helps you get onto a college team. I think I would my goal in life and my kids in the program is to help them get onto a college team and play on a college scholarship, or even just to play in college because it's a different level. Um, it's it's hard, but it's fun. It's rewarding. It feels like an accomplishment. And so, that's kind of the path that I say to take when your daughter's young. And then the hopes and grows of going through the programs, through the club, through the school, and then hopefully you're playing in college. Um, so give me a thumbs up if that resonates at all. Give me a heart if you went in that order or your daughter went in that order. Um, and maybe they're not to the college experience yet, but give me something, give me a comment if you want your daughter to play in college. And then if you know anybody that, you know, is looking to see if they like volleyball or not, share this video with them. Give them a little insight into what's happening. I know that we have 6 teams in our club program, so that's 60 something kids that have figured out that they want to play in club. But I know that there's so many more kids out there that just have no idea what's going on. And that's okay. We're here to help and educate. And I love getting phone calls asking about what we have at Force. Um, but if you could share this video with them, then maybe they'll know for next year that club tryouts are in June and July. And if they want to get in, then they can sign up and try out then, or they can just join one of our programs along the way. We will be offering programs now and in the spring, and then we will offer camps, clinics, programming in the summer, and we're kind of a year-round deal. I'm trying to be more year-round, so we're working on it. We're getting there. We're making programs. Um, Look at that. Chris says that his daughter went developmental local, and now she's actually on my regional team. We're really excited to have her. So yeah, that's just kind of what I have to say about this. I love volleyball, so I talk things all volleyball all the time, and I hope to see you here next Thursday. I forgot to write down what I'm going to be talking about. Hold on, I have it right here in my notes. Next week, I kind of already did that. So I was going to go over what we did the first 2 weeks of practice and how everything's gone, and I'll probably touch on that again next week. But I'll come up with a better subject to talk about. Also, if you didn't watch last week's interview with Emily, or Urbaniak. I always struggle with her name. It was a really good one. So we talked about mindset, about what kind of the 3 tips you should do going into the club season, but in reality, going into just life right now. Go back, check it out. It's awesome. And because I had so much fun doing an interview with her last week, I plan to do lots of interviews on these Thursday lives. So I don't have one scheduled next week or the week after, but I'm working on getting some scheduled in December. And so we'll always bring you jam-packed volleyball knowledge with some experts and with me, of course. And so I will see you next week here live on Facebook at 11 o'clock. Thank you guys for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Bye.